Yaz from Yorkshire Peaches Therapies. Welcome back to another episode of Hop, Skip and a Jump. Today I have the wonderful Kerry from Howl School for Dogs, and we talk about lived experiences of pain and how that is helping us advocate for our dogs and pet parents' dogs. I also touch base about current pain researchers and pain clinicians that are openly admitting in human medicine that yes, they do work with pain and they treat pain, but actually this can become fragmented away from the actual human experience of pain. If this is happening in human medicine, what is veterinary medicine looking like? I'm going to cut to the chase and jump straight into that podcast. Thank you, Kerry, for joining me today and holding space. Hang on, wait a minute. If we do,
I'll give you my little finger and you just grip onto that.
My darling, how are you today? You good?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me here. I was a little bit nervous about coming here because, because I'm in the presence of greatness.
You.
But also, I'm not uncomfortable. You would be surprised by this if you know my social media, but I'm not comfortable in front of the camera at all. Because I've got nerve damage on my face. So whenever I film anything, after I filmed it, I flip the camera. Mirror the image.
Yeah.
I don't find that as jarring seeing it. So whenever I do anything like Google kind of meat type stuff, or I instantly get like, I'm not in control of this image and it can't be flipped or anything. But that's fine. This is growth, isn't it?
This is a safe space, my girl. I think when I look at your content, I just think how piss funny you are. You are so funny. Like I actually got like audible laughs when I look at your content because the way your content just absolutely resonates with me so much because you just like straight to the point, and I absolutely love it. And I completely get not wanting to be in front of a camera, because as much as I'm in front of a camera, I love being in front of a camera, but I know it's a necessary evil in order to promote your ethos and promote your message, whatever that message may be. I think because I've had Bell's palsy twice on the left side of my face. So yes, so I can't feel like certain parts of my face when I snap.
Mine was before I was born, and it's lifelong. So yeah,
I had
mine's just a little bit better than yours.
Yeah, so, because we're dick measuring here over facial paralysis. We live for it. I forgot to say I swear on this podcast, but my content. You know that. Thank God. Yeah. No, don't worry. No, you're fine. But I think I got Bell's palsy. It was 6 weeks before I got married. That was fun. That was great. That was ace. And then I got nerve pain with it as well.
Fantastic.
So that was isn't it lush?
Love that for you.
And then I got round 2. I think about a year later. So it's very much stress induced.
Right.
And can't sleep in a tent. Gal she can't glamp or anything because it's something to do with the nerve in your ear, and if the change in temperature goes through your ear like a draft, it'll set it off again.
Sounds intense.
It is intense. It is intense sometimes, but I kind of forget.
A joke there.
What?
Did you like my joke there? You just bypassed a joke.
I hear it now.
Wasted. Absolutely wasted on this podcast.
Absolutely, because I'm so fucking literal. Like neurospicy girl, I'm like, yeah, it is actually intense.
Well, yeah, so we've got you with your literal, taking everything very literally, and then my neurospicy, which is just saying anything and everything I think without thinking about it. So this is going to be a wonderful thing.
This is going to be great. This is going to be great. I love it. It's going to breed like a fungus, and people are just going to be, they're either going to get on board with it or they're not. And if they're not, well, they're not part of our tribe, are they? I think everyone's part of our tribe. No, like in our community, I would consider our shared community to be the force-free community.
Absolutely, it's a lovely place.
It is a lovely place. It can be a very intense place, I find sometimes. No joke intended. If there was a joke there, I don't think there was.
No. I'll let you know. I'll give you a hand signal when it's a joke, and then it'll give you a moment to process and consider.
Facial expressions.
But no, in that round, no, nothing going on there.
Excellent, thank you very much. It's always good to have those hand signals, just to remind me how to behave like a normal person. So whatever normal is, just jazz hands.
Jazz hands when it's funny, all right? It might start doing that in life as well, because not everyone finds me funny.
I think you're hysterical. I think you're absolutely hysterical.
Likewise. And you know that there was I read a meme recently that said, were you a hot girl at school, or are you funny now? I was like, still so seen.
I've always been what do you call it? Bubbly. Fucking hate that word. Bubbly.
Bubbly.
Just call me fat. Like, just
absolutely not. I will not.
Never. I find bubbly more offensive.
Oh, absolutely. Bubbly.
Isn't it aggravating? Isn't it aggravating?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're here to talk about dogs, and we've shared a little bit of trauma, cute little trauma dump on medical issues. So let's get down to business. Dogs.
I think that it makes perfect sense that we are people that have experienced mental and physical trauma.
Yes.
That we are so sensitive to when we see it in dogs, and when we're working with dogs that cannot advocate for themselves, and why we are so absolutely committed to fight in their corner in the face of a lot of adversity, be it from horrendous people, professionals doing horrific things to dogs, or being it at the other end of the scope when you're dealing with vets who perhaps just lost touch. Behavior and
just lost touch. I was listening to another podcast today. It's one of my most favoritist ones. It's from the International Association for the Study of Pain, and they have, it's really broad, lots of different pain specialists, lots of different areas. And I was listening to a talk today he's an engineer, and he was discussing about his lived experience of pain, and he spoke to ISAP, which is International Association for the Study of Pain, and said, listen, like, what you're doing is great, but you're really lacking that kind of patient perspective, that lived experience kind of effect. And they asked him to go speak at the conference. I think it was in Canada, because it changes where it is. It goes all around the globe, and
that'll be the international part of it.
That will be the International Association. I got that one. I didn't need a hand signal. But he was given the platform to speak to a room full of clinicians who are all there for pain. And I think he was talking to someone who was a researcher, a pain researcher, and they were both saying how out of touch they are with dealing with the human experience of pain, and they just focus on the pain. So if that's happening in human medicine, what hope do we have?
Well, I always think if we look at, we're not even yet taking women's health seriously.
Oh yeah.
So what chance do dogs have?
Yeah.
What chance does anyone? We're in there going, no, I'm telling you, this is happening. I'm not making this up. I'm not hysterical and all of this.
Love that.
And we're still being told, you know what? I think we need to stick you on some antidepressants. Whereas it's like, no, there's a pattern to this. I know what's going on. I've been reading about it because I know you fucking won't. So, no. We're just
you're being hysterical. You're being hysterical.
Nurse, get this.
Get a sedative. Start.
Yeah. So I think it makes perfect sense that we are now doing that for dogs as well, because we are just so, as women, used to not being listened to.
Oh, 100%. It's interesting that you say about the women's health aspect of it, because lo and behold, I was listening to another podcast from the International Association for the Study of Pain, and they were talking. Yeah, honest, it's weird that I've never mentioned it before. It's not my hyper focus at all.
Love it.
And they were talking. It was like a panel, kind of like group discussion about pain, and there was two women's reproductive health pain specialists. They're both blokes.
Oh my god.
And I was like, what he was saying was interesting, and he went, I just feel so guilty that I can't have a lived experience of what these women are going through. I'm like, mate, do you want to do a round of endometriosis? Like, you are welcome. You are welcome. Don't say stupid things.
But you know what?
Silly.
They don't have to have the lived experience, though. What they just need to do is listen to the people that do have the lived experience and listen to people when they're saying it. Because I had a similar thing. I had horrendous fibroids for years, kept growing melon-sized fibroids. So at the age of 34, I had a hysterectomy because I was in so much pain, and I had to fight because they kept saying that, no, do you know what? It's not that big a problem. It's not that big a problem. You might want children, blah, blah, blah. I don't want children. I have dogs in my life. I don't need children. I have a child. It's a Yorkshire Terrier cross with a Maltese, thank you.
I carried her for 9 months.
An angel baby sent from heaven. Now please leave me alone. But they, in the end, when they did the hysterectomy, they came up to me afterwards and said, "You were right. That had to go."
Yeah, weird, like, isn't it?
It's funny, isn't it? It's
isn't that bizarre? Isn't that bizarre?
I know it didn't say in the book, but you know,
you were right. You were right. There was it was on that podcast, they were talking about visceral pain, and I can't remember who it was, but they made a really, really good point. Visceral pain is like pain in here, right? It's like pain in your organs, okay?
Hold that thought. Norma wants to join us. She's about to launch off the sofa. Let me
Norma, our sweet angel, is here. She's like, I want to talk about how I came down the birth canal. Natural birth. Hello.
Oh, don't put on the microphone, Norma. Oh, where's the effing night?
She looks like she's had she had a haircut recently. She looks like she's got a little bob.
Yeah, no, Bob. She hasn't. You're the second person who said that today, but no, she hasn't.
She just styled it different. She just
has that stereotypical Karen haircut, doesn't she, all the time?
She looks like she wants to speak to her manager. Oh my God!
She normally does about a treat situation.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I shouldn't have lifted her then, because I hate when people do that. Actually, I'll bring the camera down to her. There we go.
She's an angel. She is an angel. How much? How much did she weigh when she was born? Like, did you naturally wean, or how long was she breastfed for? Like,
well, I actually, I didn't actually. You know what? I tried for many years to get pregnant with a Yorkshire Terrier, cross with a Maltese. Tried many years, but I wasn't successful.
Right.
So in the end, I adopted her from Battersea Dogs Home.
Right. Okay.
But you'll be glad to know that as soon as I got her home at age 5, we immediately started the breastfeeding, and she latched on like, almost within seconds of being home. And there was, so it all worked out for the best in the end.
That's so good. And I hear now that you're a community leader for breastfeeding dogs, which is listen, we're going so off topic. People are going to be like, what? Listen, people, you're in for the ride now. Yeah, like we will throw the occasional good bit of nugget out, but then we have to talk about the breastfeeding journey.
Very silly people. If in doubt, do not breastfeed your dog. Anyway, let's go back to what you were talking about, Yaz, because it was so interesting and I rudely interrupted.
No, I wanted to know about the breastfeeding journey for this day. We're talking about visceral pains. We're talking about organ pain. Now, for us as humans, when we go to the doctors, we can identify that we have pain in our abdomen, and we may be able to point to it and describe the type of pain. However, how often can we pinpoint what organ it's coming from?
So interesting. Interesting. We
can't pinpoint it. Sometimes I think, well, for me, as lived experience as a woman with reproductive health issues, I can identify when I'm having an endometriosis flare. But because I've got diverticular disease as well, which is a bowel condition, I really struggle sometimes to separate. I go, is this an endo flare? Is this a tummy flare? I can't quite. And to say it's such a complicated network and it's full of nerves, I mean, there will be an evolutionary advantage that we don't receive as much information from there. Because can you imagine how much brain capacity it would take up for us to be consciously involved in every single process that's in the body? It's just not possible. I
mean, with the mental chatter that is constantly going on in my brain, I certainly can't have all of that information coming in as well, because I'll get nothing done.
Yeah, get nothing done. And I think, so when people say like, oh, when I say people, that's a very broad kind of thing, but I'm just going to say people. When people say, oh, the dog's not in pain, why? Because I said so. It's like, like if we can't even identify our own pain, how the hell are people so confident at identifying a non-pain issue? Can we not just assume it's pain until we can categorically? It's like, how do you even rule it out? Imaging doesn't rule it out.
Exactly.
Pain medication doesn't rule it out, because it could be that actually that particular dog needs an NSAID, your non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, with a little bit of GABA, and then a top up of something else, and then a little bit of this, and that's what creates that perfect little cocktail for that dog.
Exactly. And this is what I talk about this a lot with my clients that I'm working with, with regards to when they're struggling with behavior, because so often lovely clients have been told by friends, family, people down the park, sometimes even their vets, that the behavior that the dog is exhibiting because they're in pain is because of them trying to be top dog, because of pack mentality, because they're trying to be an alpha, because they're being a diva, because of all of these things, which is so unrooted in science. It's unreal. But people have said it to them. Someone with a bloody master's in veterinary science has told them this. Of course they're going to believe it. But I always say to them, bring it back to, and I'm always banging on about this, so forgive me if I sound like a scratch record, but bring it back to Occam's razor, the philosophical principle that says the simplest answer is usually the correct one. If a dog doesn't want somebody to touch them, is it because they're being an alpha and they're worried about hierarchy, or is it because it hurts when you touch them? If they don't want to go on a walk, is it because they're being stubborn? Is it because they're trying to battle with you for dominance, or is it because it hurts them when they walk? If a dog doesn't want another dog running over to them because for one reason or another, is it because they're being, trying to dominate that dog when they have a go at them, or is it because they're worried they're going to come crashing into them and hurt them? Go back, bring it back, make sense, people, make sense. And I'm not criticizing the people, the general public. I'm criticizing the professionals that propagate these nonsense ideas about what's going on in the dog's head.
I think as well, like it's a bit of a dangerous trend, isn't it? Because there was oh my goodness, little dogs, large dogs. She's based in London.
Oh yeah.
And there was a case study of hers that she shared. Yes. And she shared a case study of a dog that she was working with, because she specializes in bully breeds, working with this dog. She suspected that the dog was in pain, and this dog had severe stranger-directed aggression. And he went to the vet she said, you need to go for a pain trial, and that dog was put to sleep, and he was, I think, 1.
That's hideous.
That's just made all the hairs stand up. And I keep thinking about that dog. I've never met that dog. I read a lot of really sad things about dogs, but that one, it just really stuck with me. And I can't say why it was that particular dog. And I thought, fucking hell, even though we're shouting, we're working all these fucking hours to educate pet parents, to try and educate professionals, it's still not loud enough. How do we make it louder? And actually, we're not going to get to that point for a lot more years, whilst we still have aversive methods being used in the general public. We're never going to get to that stage if we still have this issue present in the general public.
Absolutely, because you've got dogs that are crying out for help and saying, I can't cope, please, I can't cope. And then you've got some utter knobhead coming along and saying, I'm not having that. Let's shut that request down. Let's put a bit more force on that dog, so that dog can't even bear to exhibit the behaviors that they're in pain. But they're still feeling it. They're still feeling all of it, and they're living absolute lives of misery. And that's the kind of shit that I'm sure, like you, keeps me awake at night.
It does keep me awake at night. I'm very honest about where my own training journey began with my dogs. I was just pet parent. Before I did this, pet parent, and I had been surrounded by farm dogs, working dogs, and they have a certain lifestyle and they're treated in a certain way. Again, very general, very sweeping statement, but that is what I was kind of brought up around. So then when it came to my beautiful puppies, Lily and Rodney, I went, I'm going to go to the dog school and take them to puppy school because that's what you do.
Yeah.
And it started very nice, but then as it kind of progressed, in came the lead corrections. Okay, so that's something that took a long time for me to kind of go, I don't think it ever felt comfortable, but I thought, well, this is just the way it is. Just suck it up, you know? And actually, it's not like, it doesn't have to be like that. So when I said to pet parents, listen, I don't sit here pretending I knew it all, because I fucking didn't when I started. I did everything. I'm vaccinated, fed hills, fed shit, fucking treats, bloody jumbones, and I used lead corrections because I thought that was the only way. And actually, it's not the only way. And I always say
the wrong way.
Correct. It is the wrong way. It is the wrong way, because even now with my dog Rodney, when I take him out for a walk and he's walked in this beautiful, perfect fit harness, and he will, if he's feeling a bit stressed because he's a stressy dog, and he starts pulling into his harness, he turns his head like that. The memory of the corrections remains, and I've never been able to. And he hasn't for 5-6 years. Hasn't had anything going into his neck, and it still remains. So of course it will, because it's an embedded trauma.
It's somewhere, you know, big feelings. I mean, it's Norma found a pork pork chop once on the corner of the street in Hackney when we used to live there, and for the next few years she went looking for that, because that was a big feeling moment, which made an emotional memory for her. Which, you know, be that a good memory or a bad memory, they're forming them, aren't they?
And they hold them as well. They hold on to them. So now when I have dogs in clinic, I mean, everything comes off. Like, we shut the door and I go, right, okay.
That, yes.
Why?
Keep your clothes on.
No.
Inappropriate for you to be doing that. Talked about this.
Listen, my name's on the lease. If I need to earth down into the ground via my naked butt cheeks, then that is what I will do. I am a free spirit. Look at my hair. Look at the way I dress. Of course. You know, if the customers want to get naked, that's on them. That's okay.
Absolutely. Just as I was going to say, God, just as the universe made you.
We're going to now recreate your dog being born, right? Everyone get naked.
Get naked. Hold my finger. And like gravity together.
Can I just confirm? I don't tell pet parents to get naked, like, unless they want to get. No, I'm joking. Some people ask if they can take the shoes off sometimes because they're like, they're comfy. Like, that's it. That's it. As far as it goes, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But when I'm working with the dogs in clinic, like, they don't have any collars, harness, lead, nothing on them, so that they can really truly opt in and opt out. And some dogs, so this is something that I kind of not battle with in my head, but I'm trying to create an environment that supports safety. I want to create a safe environment. I want to create an environment of choice, and I just want to create a nice fucking experience for the dog primarily, but that also involves the pet parent, because 50% of what I'm doing is with the dog and 50% is with the pet parent, who, whilst I'm working, will want to ask things about nutrition, and I'll be asking them about how's the pain management going, and what did the vet last say at their last appointment, how we do with this, so it's 50-50. But I find that when the pet parent talks, it's like they can offload in that room, and then what does the dog do? Oh, fucking hell, this is this, and they offload too. Like, pain is as much a physical experience as it is an emotional experience.
Totally.
Like, to me, just I can't understand why that doesn't make sense to people, but I have to remind myself that I was once that that balanced pet parent.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I loved my dogs. It's never been a question about love. It's a question of understanding. It's a question of understanding, I think. What do you reckon?
Absolutely. I'm never, ever cross with the pet guardians for the things that they're doing that they've been shown to do by a professional, because I actually think they've been abused as much as the dog has in that situation, because they've been exploited as much as the dog has, because somebody's taken their money and then put them into a unpleasant, dangerous situation with their dog and told them this is what you should be doing, and it's absolutely unforgivable. Now, I also would like to hold space for if a balanced trainer then gets new information and then says, you know, okay, I get it, that was wrong, I shouldn't have done that, and now I understand why. And then they kind of explain to people, okay, if I showed you to do this, you shouldn't, this is what you should do. Fantastic. You know, we're all learning all the time. I don't know everything. Despite what I may tell people, I don't know everything.
Wait, what? A whole relationship is a lie. I thought you knew everything.
No, totally not. Yeah, so I just think, but it's these people that when they are given the information and then they just double down on it because either they don't have the capacity, I'm talking about professionals here, they don't have the capacity to understand it, they're concepts that are out of their reach. Or they just lack empathy. And I think that is a fundamental thing, and I think you can't teach that to some people, that empathy, you know. And we look at the people that are out in the world, the CEOs of the world's making all the money, they're the equivalent of these very, very popular trainers.
They are so popular, and I can't wrap my head around why they are so popular or why these methods are so popular. But I think I can't remember who I was talking about this with. We live in a world that's like Amazon Prime, right? We want something and it's here the next day.
Yeah.
So it used to be that when you wanted a particular breed of dog, you would go to a breeder, you would then be interviewed, you'd go on a waiting list, and then you'd wait. That could sometimes be a year until the right parent or whatever. So it used to be the norm that you would wait a long time to bring home a pedigree puppy if that's what you wanted. Whereas now you don't have to wait. It's, you know, there's puppy mills. Obviously, there's going to be breeders who have waiting lists, but they're pitted against puppy farms. Yeah. So it's this kind of next day delivery, and people want these quick results. People want these quick results, and it's not the fault of the pet parent for wanting these quick results. Like you say, it's the people who exploit that. So when people come to me for their first session, they are so incredibly vulnerable, because usually I'm last chance saloon. Or in that sort of territory, like we've tried everything, I'm not getting answers from the vets, I've got this diagnosis, but I've still got a dog who doesn't want to be touched, who doesn't want to interact with me in the house, doesn't want to, you know, it hasn't got the joy in life, right? Or their world is incredibly small and they're wanting to open it up. And it's when pet parents come to me and go, you know, am I going crazy? I go, no, you're not. Like, this is really fucking straightforward. You've got a dog that's persistently lame in the left hind limb. You've got a dog that can't sit nice and square or even do a down. Because getting dogs to sit it's not the best, is it? We always go sit, you know, with dogs. But actually,
never teach it. Not interested.
It's such an unnatural position for dogs.
Yeah.
When you think about it. So you've got all of these things, and I'm like, well, you're ticking behaviour, posture, gait, and capabilities. This dog is painful.
Yeah.
You know, let's not get down into the nitty-gritty yet of, well, where is the pain coming from? Let's just fucking treat it. Let's just do something about that. Yeah. And every dog is an individual and how they present their pain. And every dog that comes to see me, there's not one single case that is ever the same. I could be dealing with the same orthopedic condition, but the experience between the two dogs is going to be completely different. So say, for example, hip dysplasia. I've got dogs that come to see me that have got hip dysplasia, and they like a really firm pressure. They want me to work kind of like into the groin, because that's an area that's incredibly sensitive. It does get overlooked, I think, because if we've got hips, so we have the legs kind of going forward like this. Sorry for people who are listening on the podcast, you're gonna have to watch the YouTube now.
That's like a slow kind of slow pedals on an exercise bike was what
with 10 resistance on the right. But if we've got hip dysplasia, we can have this circumduction appears. So instead of striding forward, we're striding out to the side. And when we're doing that, which is, how would you describe that to the podcasters?
So that looks like the kind of arms you might do when you are doing the breaststroke. So
yes,
the arm goes out to the side and then forward. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. God, you're really good at this, because I just go. But you get this circumduction. So what happens is muscles that are inside the thigh are having to really overcompensate because they're moving in a way that is unnatural, that they're not built for. So a lot of dogs with hip dysplasia carry an awful lot of tension in their groin. What we also have to take into account is a lot of dogs in the UK are neutered. So there will be fascial adhesions in there. There's always going to be fascial adhesions. If you've cut through tissue to remove a reproductive organ, there is going to be damage there. It does, that can be from a full spay, or that can be through a keyhole as well. And so they're carrying a lot of tension in there, and they want some work doing in there.
So
and
we're talking scar tissue there, aren't we?
Scar tissue, yeah.
Sinewy scar tissue that builds up and can become almost like knots, can't it, and cause all kinds of issues. It goes
really rigid. So when you have had, say, if your dog's had surgery, so they've cut through the skin, they've cut through the muscle, they've cut through the fascia, collagen, blah, 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 to get to what they're wanting to work on. When all of that's knitting back together again, yes, it does knit back together again. Jobs are good. And actually what happens is that fascia becomes really, if it beds down onto that soft tissue, you're not going to get it back up again.
Yeah.
Without doing those, those things that people do on, I've seen it on Instagram recently. This is people using those metal tools to scrape the fascia under the skin. And they go bright red and they go, God, this is so good. I'm like, what the frig? This is a collagen based structure that's predominantly water. What the hell are you doing apart from bruising? I think it's but for dogs that'd be highly unethical for to do anything like that. So you've got that, then you've got the emotional trauma that's held in the tissue, so the memory of pain in that area from that healing process. How many dogs do you know that when they've had when they've been neutered and they've bust the stitches? I know quite a few that have bust their stitches, or they've not. It's quite a common thing to occur, because the dog will go, okay, right, I'm feeling really groggy. I'm gonna have my week of NSAIDs. I'm starting to feel a little bit better now, but we only get those 7 days worth of NSAIDs because pain stops after 7 days we have a full hysterectomy or removing of testicles. So of course pain stops after 7 days, and the dog, say on that day 7 is going, this is great, look at how I can move, and then oh God, I've overdone it now, and I've actually really bloody hurt myself.
Totally. Yeah,
or they've gone from great rest to normal, and there's just no bridge in between.
And that's what I often say to clients when they've got a dog that is taking part in like a pain trial. Be careful, because if they start to feel better, they might start, being a little bit more adventurous.
They'll overdo it, because they'll overdo it. So the way that I explain it is that what a dog does on the Monday, they cannot correlate that on the Tuesday when they feel awful, they can't match the two up.
Yes.
I don't know why it's that long. So say if they, I don't know, they walk over something, they go, oh, actually, that really hurts my paws. And it's like instantaneous, right, okay, I'm going to remove myself from that situation. There must be some kind of time frame or something, but I haven't looked at it, to be honest. But I always know if they've done something on a Monday and they feel shit on the Tuesday, they don't marry the two up. So we have to be the fun police. I can take the fun out of any situation with a dog. Any video on social media, instantly take the fun out of it.
I
Any
just did earlier.
party, there's the one I didn't manage to catch all of it, but it's the dog carrying the water bottle.
It was the dog carrying. So there was somebody posted a reel of they're in the bath, and when they're in the bath, their dog keeps wandering in, carrying various objects in the mouth. This is probably different days that this has happened. So each time comes in carrying something, and they posted, oh, whenever I'm in the bath, my dog wants to show me things. And there's nothing wrong with them saying that, but I really want people to be able to understand dogs and to be able to read them better. So I did a post and I said, look, this is Kerry from Howl School for Dogs, ruining parties since 1981. This dog isn't showing you things. They're managing their big feelings. It's a really intelligent thing that they're doing. Just like and also it's a Labrador retriever. They love to hold things in their mouth, to manage things. I liken it to when we are in the presence of something cute and we kind of grit our teeth and go, oh, we're trying to manage those big feelings. So they do that when the doorbell goes and suddenly someone comes in and they're really excited and they go and grab a toy and they're carrying it around and everyone's like, oh, they're bringing that toy over to show me. No, they're not. Don't try and take it off them. They're not bringing it to give to you. They're managing their feelings and let them get on with it. It's really clever.
It is really clever.
It is clever, isn't it? What a sensible choice.
Because dogs, I'm trying to think, spaniels, golden retrievers, those kind of like retrieving breeds, they're very kind of like tactile with their mouth. I find that bully breeds can be like that. They like carrying or hanging at stuff.
Get a lot of tension in their jaw, don't they, when they're big feelings? And so, that's why I say to people to carry something with them when they're out on a walk, like a toy or something, or a tug toy or something, so that if their dog is feeling a bit overwhelmed and they've got that shot of adrenaline or cortisol in their system, give them something that they can have a little bit.
Is it like me? Like I sit on a fidget with like my. Is it like that? Like, when we for me anyway, I have to be doing something with my hands. Maybe. Kind of
behavior, and it's really clever because what they could do is they could go and destroy something because they're feeling those big feelings, just like many people do, like Adam Driver did in that film with was it Marriage Story or whatever, when he had those big feelings, he punched the wall, didn't he? Imagine if Adam Driver in that scene had just gone and picked up something like a cuddly toy and just carried it around in his mouth.
He would have been fine.
He'd been so much better off. But instead, he didn't know how to manage those big feelings.
Emotionally unintelligent, and the Labrador is emotionally intelligent.
Far greater, because a safe outlet that is not toxic to the people in their space. What is toxic, though, is when people try and take that from them because they assume they're trying to show it to them. They're like, no, I just want to hold it in my mouth. Not everything is for you, human. Not everything is about you.
It's about me. I'm managing my feelings. Listen, we have been waffling for, I'm pretty sure we've gone over the half-hour mark. Kerry, you've been an absolute dreamboat. I'm so pleased that we've been able to do this.
Me
I'd
too.
love to have you back multiple times. Just absolutely, talk dirty to me. I love it. Like, your knowledge is phenomenal, and thank you. I'm gonna blush. I'm trying to be better at taking the compliment. So thank you, Kerry, for that compliment. I've registered it and banked it. Thank you.
Rather than going, oh no, it's nothing. It's old. It's got holes in it. It's hideous. I'm ugly.
It's awful. Oh, horrible. Minging.
Thank you.
For people who want to find you on socials, where you're at, what's your tags you're at?
Instagram at Howl. So it's Howl School for Dogs. Howl, like what a dog does when they're feeling a bit of uncomfortableness. So that's a good word. So Instagram is at howl.school.for.dogs. I'm on TikTok. I don't know what it is. Just look up Howl School for Dogs. I'm on Facebook. I'm a bit shit on Facebook. I don't really like Facebook. It's just full of people being
Karens.
I was going to say cunts, but yeah. To each other. So I'm on Facebook as well. I'm on YouTube as well for the people that don't want anything to do with social media. You can find me on YouTube and I'll also soon be doing my own podcast with Lorna from Yes Dog Liverpool.
Who I'm going to ask on this podcast as well, because she is an angel of my heart.
Angel baby sent from heaven, and I know she adores you too. So yes.
Oh, big love. Holding space. Let me get to the camera. There we go.
There it is. No, you're going to be holding. You stick your finger out, and I'll hold it.
There we go. Look to the western skies. I've not even seen the film. But I know the words to the fucking song. Thank you. Do you know? I think I might go and see it in the cinema because there's a lot of hype and maybe
I'm going to see it definitely.
Yeah, are you going to do it?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, I think just for that one song. Yeah,
I mean, to be honest, it's 3 hours long, so I might take a book.
3 hours?
Oh, sorry, 2.5 hours. I'm no too long.
God, too bloody long.
Too bloody long.
Thank you so much, Kerry. To everyone that's listening, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'll make sure to tag your socials into this post as well. And I will speak to you soon. Take care for now. Goodbye.
Bye, Yaz.
You enjoyed that podcast as much as I did. As much as me and Kerry bring silliness and chaos to any conversation, one new principle that I learned from Kerry was the Occam's razor theory, that the simplest solution is usually the one that's correct. I just thought, God, that's so profound, especially when it comes to dealing with pain management. Yes, there's lots of fancy interventions we can have, but are we covering the absolute basics? Are we, making sure that we have sustainable pain management on board before we start going on to heavier drugs? Are we exercising correctly, whatever that may look like for your dog? And are we putting, specific measures in place to help reduce any additional concussive forces into the body? But that's a topic for another time. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have liked this podcast, please make sure to like, share, subscribe. Make sure you go and give Kerry a follow on Instagram and all of all of our other socials. For now, lots of love to you and your dogs. Take care for now. Goodbye.